I'm Pastor Dave Bryan. I'm the senior pastor of the Church of Glad Tidings in Yuba City in Northern California. I'm also the ministry coordinator of the Embassy of Heaven, which is the 40 acres of property that we have here and the ministries that we have on it. The Church of Glad Tidings was birthed in the Jesus People movement in the late 60s and the 70s. And from there, it developed into a local church, first in the foothills and then in Marysville, across the river from us. And it's been here now for over 40 years. The Church of Glad Tidings is an interdenominational group of Christians who believe in the integrity and the commission of the Bible and are setting about to follow the example of Jesus as closely as we can by seeing what he did in his day and trying to do the same in our day. The ministry motto of the Church of Glad Tidings is to find a need and meet it, find a hurt and heal it. So from the time that my wife and I got here in 1987, we have crafted the ministries of the church specifically to meet the needs of the community. We've started many ministries that reach out to the brokenness of humanity, whether it's the drug rehab programs that we've started, both for men and women. We have ministries in the juvenile hall, in the local county jails. Our juvenile hall ministries has rescued kids that were on their way to destruction, kept them out of prison, and now some of the leaders in our church are kids that we reached out to while in juvenile hall. We've also done ministries that took us into the prison system in California. For instance, we started a ministry that we called Babies Out of Bondage. The reason we started it is that we heard about women who were in prison and were pregnant and were losing custody of their children to the state of California. And we had a ministry at the time called House of Ruth, and it was for women coming out of prison that had lost their children. When we found out how difficult it was for them to be reunited with their own children, we started a ministry called Babies Out of Bondage, where we would go into the prison, hand out flyers, and tell these women, when you go to deliver your baby, call this number. If you give us 12 hours, we'll be able to meet you at the hospital, and we will take your baby and raise it with one of the families in the church. No strings attached. We'll just love it as if it were our own child. And when you get out of prison, we'll give you your baby back. And that, of course, kept the state out of it and made it possible for these women to rear their own children once they were out of prison. Because of nearly 40 years of reaching out to broken people that came through the juvenile halls that we found on the street, that came to us for deliverance from satanic ritual abuse, that came into our drug rehabs, we know what it means to try to rebuild a life that has been devastated by drugs, alcohol, sexual abuse, any kind of violence. And we're very familiar with how to minister to those kind of people. And so we have become somewhat experts at loving broken people. One of the things that we say often around here is meet people where they're at and love the hell out of them. And our focus on starting ministries is simply to meet the urgent needs that we are encountering.